network, Free Speech, to actually two of our sponsoring networks, Pacifica and Free Speech TV, but in particular Free Speech TV, are going to be covering this One Nation event coming up. I know the AFL-CIO is going to be involved with that. Rich Trumka back on the program with us, the president of the AFL-CIO and the American Federation of Labor, the Congress of Industrial Organizations, AFL-CIO.org, the website. Mr. Trumka, welcome back.
Tom, thanks for having me. Happy Labor Day.
Thank you, and happy Labor Day to you, too, or coming up soon, and great to have you with us. First of all, any comments you want to make about the One Nation campaign?
Oh, sure. You know, the anger of working people really is being stroked right now by people and corporations who are trying to distract from the truth, that the agenda that they advocate brought about our economic devastation and will deepen the economic inequality that really is so dangerous to our society. So we're fighting back. We're joining with a diverse coalition of civil rights, religious and human rights, and environmental and other progressive organizations as part of a One Nation Working Together march in Washington, D.C. and across the country on October 2nd. We're going to show that what a progressive economic vision looks like, and we'll be marching in Washington, and we'll also be going door to door across the country that day to talk about the importance of electing working family candidates.
That's great. We'll be covering it heavily, and Laura Flanders and I will be doing some kind of anchor desk stuff when that happens. The AFL-CIO has put out an agenda for a middle-class economy. Some marvelous things here, including restoring the freedom of workers to join unions, building a middle-class economy by ending outsourcing. Just biting off those two, though, it seems, is massive, because one involves passing the Employee Free Choice Act, the right to join a union, card check, and the other is changing, or at least radically modifying, 30 years of insane trade policies that have seen our jobs go to China, Taiwan, Vietnam, and frankly all over the world, any place but America. What are your hopes? Because we all had a lot of hope when President Obama came into office that these kinds of things would change really quickly. They haven't. What are your hopes for the future going forward with this? And what's the AFL-CIO doing to help make it happen?
Well, first of all, this is going to be a defining Labor Day for working people, and it's going to be the kickoff to the final round of a defining set of elections, because we're either going to rebuild a fundamentally different economy that values hard work and a strong middle class, or we're going to turn back towards one that puts corporate interests before people. So we're out day to day talking to members at their homes, at their work site. We're phoning them to get things done, because we know that you not only need a change of trade policy, but you need a change of tax policy, you need a change of manufacturing policy, so that we can recreate the middle class. And so this election, working people are out looking for economic heroes, somebody that's going to engage in economic patriotism again, champions who will sort of put themselves on the line to create a better future for our kids, and we're looking for leaders who will call out corporations that ship jobs overseas and reject those bad trade deals, and they'll fight for the middle class and put us on a path to make things in America again. And we're doing that by going one-to-one, worker-to-worker contact.
Well, that's great, and that's the way things typically work, as movements go from the bottom up. But we have this spectacle in California, for example. It's not the only one, but I think it's emblematic of what's going on, of a woman, Carly Fiorina, who made her chops. I mean, who really made herself by firing 10,000 or more American workers as CEO of Hewlett-Packard. Didn't lose a wink of sleep, as far as anybody can tell, sent those jobs to China, increased the profits of the company, destroyed thousands of American workers' lives, and she actually, because she has dropped tens of millions of dollars of her own money into this campaign and is going to drop tens of millions more, and plus we'll have the support of all the big corporate honchos, the Chamber of Commerce and the on and on it goes, has a very good chance of actually taking on Barbara Boxer, who's got a great record on a lot of these issues. It's like, tragically, how easy is America fooled, one, and two, what are we going to do to wake up the rest of the Democratic Party? I don't think Barbara Boxer needs to be woken up, but a hell of a lot of the Democrats who are voting in California, I'm looking at these polls of Boxer Fiorina and going, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, well, don't forget she's also joined by Queen Meg, who spent over $100 million of her own money to become governor. Both of them have the same agenda, to cut jobs, give more tax breaks to the rich, which they happen to benefit from, I might add. They talk about getting rid of Social Security, raising the age of retirement, and we're going worker to worker, saying these are the workers that stand with you. These Barbara Boxer stood with us on all of these fights. Carly is against you. The same with the governor, Jerry Brown, stands with us and wants to help create jobs, while these two candidates think that the way to get out of an 11 million job hole is to add to the job hole.
But when Ronald Reagan came into office and a quarter of the American workforce was unionized, getting union workers out there to speak up, people got it. People understood it. People who were particularly union members were right there. And now we've got 7-8% of the private workforce, 12-13% when you include government employees. We've got a much smaller percentage of the American workforce is unionized. It's much more of an uphill job, and it seems like all of the major media, which is not unionized, doesn't give a rat's patootie about what's going on, and frankly is giving all kinds of publicity to people like Carly and Meg. And bottom line, Richard Trumka, president of the AFL-CIO, we've got a hell of a big job ahead of us. What can our listeners and viewers do right now and going forward toward October 2nd to, A, make this event on October 2nd a big deal, the One Nation campaign, and B, to help move forward this entire progressive agenda for a middle-class economy?
Well, let me say this. In the last election, unionized workers and their families made up 26% of the vote. That's the largest bloc that's out there. That's the largest bloc out there. So we're still very, very formidable and more than relevant. We can still be very compelling. What they want, they want to confuse us. They want to frustrate us. That has been the Republican strategy so that workers stay home. They don't want our vote. They just want us to stay home so they get an easy walkover. So what everybody can do is educate yourself on where these candidates stand on the issues. There will be candidates like Barbara Boxer who stand with workers and Fiorio that stands against workers and stands for the very rich. So you got a choice to make. We can either go forward and build on what we've done and create an economy that works for everybody out there and starts our wages back up rather than stagnating them, lets us keep decent pensions and some retirement security, lets us build on the health care bill and bring health care to everybody, or we can go back to the policies that they advocated that got us into this mess. Because here's what they've stood for so far. They've said no to everything. Every job creation bill that Barbara Boxer and, quite frankly, all the Democrats have put forth, they've said no. They've said yes to three things. They've said yes to more tax cuts for the super rich because in California's case, it benefits them. They've said raise the age of Social Security, and they've said cut the benefits for Social Security.
They being the Republicans.
Yeah, none of those are going to create jobs. None of those are good for workers. So you owe it to yourself to get into the game, because what you don't want to do is wake up on November 3rd and say, oh, gee, I sat home and now we have Speaker Boehner, and instead of having an extension of unemployment benefits or health care, he's trying to repeal the Wall Street Reform Act or repeal the Health Care Act. That's the choice that workers have this time.
Richard Trumka, the man who I'm proud to say represents me as an AFTRA member, represents two of my three brothers as union members, and doing a great job at the AFL-CIO, AFL-CIO.org. Rich Trumka, thanks so much for being with us. For more on this and other topics, please visit thomhartmann.com.